Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Trader Merlin Show. I'm going to be slightly out of breath here today, at least to start the opening part of the show. I forgot. I got in here. I got all set up to do the show today, and I realized, I look over, I don't have a glass of whiskey. So I've got like 4 seconds left to start the show, and boom, ran downstairs, made it in time. Jefferson's Ocean today. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope you had a great trading week. It was a short week for me. And all in all, it was a good one. I didn't make any trades today. I was in class for 5 hours this morning, so unfortunately, I got 0 trades done. So a little bit disappointed about that. I'm looking forward to getting back into the action next week. I have a class on Monday morning. Monday from 6 to 9, and then things open up in the week, so I'll finally get some time to actually trade again. So cheers, happy Friday. Hope you are doing as well as Elon Musk. So let's talk about that for a little bit. As you can see the graphic I have here, and again, I need to slow it down so I can catch my breath, but I wanted to get my AI to show me a whole bunch of robots, a world dominated by robots. And if you listen to Elon Musk's presentation yesterday, I didn't get to listen to it live because it was at 1:30, and of course I have to do this show at 2, but I watched it today and parts of it, and I thought it was really interesting. And one thing I give Elon Musk a lot of credit for is having an idea, being a visionary, and bringing that idea to fruition. Which is why he got paid this massive payday that he did, $44.9 billion or something dollars. Deserved every penny of it and then more. So what I thought was interesting was, he says, we're not turning a new page for Tesla. We're opening a whole new book. Now, if you're a Tesla shareholder, as I think I might start to become one here and building positions long-term over time for Tesla, you've got to be pretty excited about that because you already have the dominant player in the electric vehicle space. Not only that, he has gone on to talk. I don't know if Tom is here today. There he is. Thought he'd be looming in the dark, but there he is. Tom has made the point many times in this program that Tesla's a car company. Tesla's a hardware car company. And during the conference yesterday, Elon Musk made it a point multiple times to go, we're not just a hardware company. We're a software company. So we are different than any automaker because of the software side of things. He also went on to talk about their competitive advantage in predictive AI using all the data they've collected from vehicle perspectives, understanding people's movements, motions, all that stuff. And when you have that much data, it really does give them a competitive advantage. Man, I'm like old. I'm out of breath from running up some stairs real quick. So what does it mean for Tesla? If Tesla is opening a new book, not just a chapter, that means new business. And the robots side of things, which we talked about yesterday, I obviously told you my excitement and why I'm super excited about having one. I look forward to it. I anticipated these things being $100,000, $200,000 for one of these robots that's fully functioning, that I can program to do all this stuff. Well, at the conference, he said, if we get up to scale, we get to full-scale production, we can get those down to cost at about $10,000. We could sell them for $20,000, assuming that every person wants one. And he goes, I imagine everybody will want one for some task. Doesn't have to be for the same things that I'm looking for. You guys know I'm basically looking for a maid robot, a personal assistant to cook, to clean, do all the little things that I don't enjoy doing. Now, don't get me wrong. I love gardening. I love going out there and doing my gardening work. But there's some times where I'm like, I wish those weeds would just pull themselves. Hello, Tesla bot, could you go pull all the weeds in my yard for me today? That's part of the use that I will be doing with my Tesla bot. Now, he went on to do just some pretty lofty predictions. He said that based off the numbers that he was running off of the bots, and this is just the robotics side, right? This is nothing to do with the autonomous vehicle side. It's completely separate, but it's because, Glenn, I watched the press conference and his numbers were pretty crazy. He went on to talk about a $30 trillion valuation for Tesla, which I don't know what you guys think about that. I mean, if you think about it, it's taken how many decades for companies to get to $3 trillion, right? First time we had somebody at $3 trillion. If Tesla can get to $30 trillion, what does that do to the share price? And he was talking about doing, 100x pricing on Tesla. I think that's pretty lofty vision. However, going back to Elon Musk's forte, it's setting very lofty goals, and for most part, he continues to hit them. I find that pretty impressive, and I don't know. We look at the Tesla chart here. I had a pretty ugly down day today, which is great for me. I'll probably go back to selling some puts on these. I was I think I saw my line on here. I had the 120s, I think. No, I don't know why my line's not here. Maybe that was it. Yeah, I think maybe it was the 140s because I was executed on Tesla and then it moved back up. So I sold the 160s, I think is what I sold. I was executed and I closed out at 165. I may actually go back to selling puts at that 160 or the 140 level if the premium is good enough, just knowing this is coming down the road. Now, is this something that's going to happen in the next 6 months, the next year? Absolutely not. No way. It's going to be something that's going to happen. The robot side of things is going to take several years to come to fruition. So that's going to make this a long-term hold. So in my opinion, it looks like I've got 3 different things happening with Tesla, which make it a very appealing portfolio addition. We've got the car side, which we talked about yesterday. That's a no-brainer. One thing that was interesting at that press conference, he also had they showed all the vehicle line for Tesla, including the Semi, which I like that, great idea. But there were 3 models that were covered there, and he did not talk about exactly what those models were, but he says we got a couple new models that we're working on. That could be new revenue for Tesla, the car company by itself. You have the battery side of the business. Then you have the autonomous vehicle business. And he went on to explain something that I came up with a hypothesis about what would happen, which would be that Tesla would be the company that runs this robotaxi firm, but we could turn our cars on and off and contribute it to that grid if you wanted to, if you're a current Tesla owner. And that's exactly what he said yesterday. So for everybody here who has a Tesla, this is pretty awesome for you. He went on to say that the money that you would make by renting out your car and contributing it to the Tesla mobile taxi, robotaxi grid would pay for your lease payments or your car payments. So now all of a sudden, you use the car when you want. When you're home and you go, hey, I'm not going to be using it for the next 6 hours, hit one button, it contributes to the fleet, and now Tesla controls everything, kind of like Uber or Lyft. However, it's going to be all electronic with no human drivers. That, to me, almost makes me want to go buy a Tesla. Yeah, but those are separate companies. So Oliver says, don't forget about SpaceX and Starlink. SpaceX and Starlink, private companies, right? Those are not part of Tesla. That's not under that umbrella. So if I buy shares of TSLA, I'm not getting the SpaceX play. I'm not getting the Starlink play. But you're right, Oliver. From a visionary perspective, Starlink, and Neuralink, right? He's pretty crazy. Tesla has the ugliest electric truck of them all. For you and me and many others, Big Ab, I would agree with you. I think it looks stupid. If someone gave it to me, I would probably take it. If I got one for like $5,000, maybe I would take it, but I wouldn't go spend, whatever, $70,000 on that thing. I think it's the hideous looking vehicle ever made. However, you guys might recall over the course of time, there's vehicles that they come out with and they go, God, that's so ugly. And over time, people soften to that and go, that's actually a really cool car, and they become collectible. Either way, they're selling like hotcakes right now, and that Cybertruck is certainly going to give them some revenue. The part that excites me is the robotaxi piece, because I think you've completely eliminated all these other companies, and you've given the consumers who own those vehicles a way to make money off the vehicle that they own. I drive a Toyota. If Toyota came out with some sort of way where I could let my truck, when I'm not using it, go earn money for me, sign me up. I mean, it's been sitting in the driveway all day. I haven't touched it. I haven't driven it since last night. Right? That's wasted time, decay. Let it earn some money for me. I tell you what, if they do this robotaxi thing, I'm pretty sure I will probably become a Tesla fan, a Tesla purchaser. How many of you own Teslas? Just give me a yes or no. Sounds like the Jetsons cartoon years ago. That's right, Chio. We don't have flying cars yet, but that might be the next step. Absolutely, we're going to have fully robotic cars. My logic is, can these robots give a back massage? Yes. They can. Watch the videos less of, I forget what, Optimus is the name of their robot. And they show the articulation of the hands. I mean, they're pretty much mimicking exactly what a human hand can do. So yes, just program it in there. Just bring it on. Give me. No, Lisa, I meant the vehicle, the actual car. So Les says no. Anybody say yes? Got one? There's an app where you can rent your car out. Yeah, that's called Turo. So in Turo, good point, John. And again, what we're talking about is an evolution of technology, right? So Turo, you can put your car in there and you can personally rent out your car, but you have to go bring it to the person or have them pick it up, and you got to deal with all the paperwork and everything. This would literally be the click of a button and your vehicle just leaves your driveway when someone needs it and comes back when you need it. Huge advancement in that. So who's out of business? Turo's out of business, Lyft's out of business, Uber's out of business, and where's that money go? Goes to whoever the lead dog is, and at this point, Tesla's that lead dog. Let's see. So nobody here owns, Oliver does own Tesla shares, but not the car. I sold all my Tesla at 185 this week. I agree with your 160 sell put though. No one in here, huh? When John, I'm not going to go to, we can keep it PG-13, John. These are different kinds of robots you're looking for. Totally different kind of robot. My friend has one, and my aunt recently got one. Yeah, my dad's partner has one, and pretty cool. I like driving it. It's kind of a fun vehicle. I have a couple friends with them, but I don't own one. You guys kind of know who I am. I'm a truck person, not a Cybertruck, but I like my Toyota, and I'll keep that until we get this, contribute back to the grid. But I'm pretty sure I'd be a participant there in getting my vehicle back to the fleet and let it earn money for me. Robot canoe taxi for people in Miami. Oh, that's a good one. I had me for a second because there is a car company called Canoe, which I was interested in. That one's kind of struggled. Let's see what Canoe looks like. Let's go EV. Yeah, what I thought. I'm glad I got out at my 296. We bought it 131, sold it 296 when this thing came crashing back down. So I was happy with that. But again, I have a feeling Canoe is going to go bankrupt, unfortunately. Now, this also opens the door up to other discussions. So you have a lot of EV companies that may not have the autonomy, the AI built into their platforms yet. And it has me thinking, I believe at some point what you might see is Tesla licensing out their AI for other electric vehicles. Why not? I mean, if you look at EV or some of these other models, they don't have any AI built in. It's just having a nice vehicle that's electric and fully functional, but no AI driving, self-driver. Maybe Tesla at some point starts licensing out that technology to these other car companies, which of course would create another revenue stream. So it seems like the channels for Tesla are really opening up. Now, when I was in college, of course, you're going through finance school, you talk about a business as a success. Typically, it's focus on one thing and become extremely good at that and build your dominant market share. Another venue is you find multiple streams to generate revenue from, kind of like GE did for many years, where if one part of your business starts to falter, you got other parts to fall back on. And I think that's kind of why I'm more excited about Tesla than I ever have been, is you've got the robotics side, you've got the autonomous vehicle side and robotaxis, you've got energy storage, you've got the car company itself. So now you have all these different channels for Tesla to generate revenue. It's going to take time. Do I think it'll be soaring the next year? Probably not. But I still would be okay buying Tesla and holding it long term. I did see some influencers that are out there saying, "Oh yeah, well Tesla's going to go to zero," and I'd love to find out what these people are on, what they're smoking, because Tesla's not going to go to zero, not anytime soon. What else we got, Merlin? What about insurance liability if you rent a Tesla? Chio, great question. I didn't take any screenshots of it, but I wanted to. I really wish I could have taken a screenshot for you. Tesla's also going to be doing insurance. So Tesla will have their own insurance arm as well. I don't know if they're currently doing that or if that was an upcoming piece, but now you have Tesla doing insurance, so there isn't that concern anymore. You'd simply hit a button. It's covered by Tesla. Elon Musk made it very clear that these vehicles are far safer than any human driver, which, hey, I think I'm a pretty safe driver, knock on wood, but I'll take that. I'll take Elon Musk's comment there at face value. My neighbor's bought a Cybertruck, but still is... Cheers to your friend who buys a Cybertruck and lives with his parents. That's great. Big Ev had a Model S for 4 years. Good vehicle if you're doing a lot of driving, especially the auto steer. I like the Canoe. Jay, sounds like your neighbor is a computer programmer. Oh, ouch. The robots he builds will be under the Tesla business. Correct. So, Steve, this is what I talked about yesterday. Elon Musk basically played the power card. Remember, he was supposed to get paid what he earned. It's contractual. I mean, he was promised he would get paid this on performance based for the last decade. He hasn't earned anything. Now that pay package came due, I think he earned every penny of it. And he said, if I don't get this, then I'm taking the robotic side of stuff with me and I'm going somewhere else. I will leave Tesla altogether. If we leave Tesla by itself right now, it'll do fine. I don't think you need an Elon Musk to help Tesla grow. The business is already established and set up. Where I see his huge strengths is getting new ideas down to actual production. So the robotics side, I certainly, if I was a Tesla shareholder, I would want him leading that charge. Absolutely. And same thing with the robotaxi and that AI technology. And I think that's a big win for shareholders today or yesterday with Tesla. Now, you look at this price chart here, I don't really see anything in here that looks that exciting to me, right? Let me just show you that chart here. Long term, it's certainly well off its highs where it was back in 2021. We were up at, $413 somewhere in that realm. We currently are sitting well lower than that at 178. We did bottom out back here about $100 in 2023, and I'll disclose to you what I do, but I have a feeling I'm going to start selling puts on this, and if I get filled, I'll just sell some calls against it that are further out of the money and know that I'm going to be holding this for a long time. It will not be a full portfolio, but I do have multiple accounts. I have 2 right now that I'm really doing just my 1% strategy on, and I'm not finding tons of opportunity there. I have trades on, but I'm not full. My cart's not full like it usually is. So I may take one of those accounts and turn that into more of a Tesla AI fund and kind of do the 1% strategy, but a little bit different, with bigger margins. So I'll be looking for the long-term appreciation mainly in that one on Tesla and building a bigger position. So I'll let you know how that goes. I haven't made the decision yet whether I'm going to switch that account over and kind of go after the Tesla approach. But, in the conversation I had with Don Fron, a couple months ago, Don Fron is almost to the point of obsessive compulsive, over the top about AI and robotics. Now, I'm not saying that the whole world will be run by robots and we're all going to be just beaten up by machines like the Terminator, right? However, I do see Elon Musk's idea and vision that down the road, if we can get production cheap enough, why wouldn't you have a robot in your home doing all of the things that you wanted to do? If you were a business owner, why wouldn't you have a robot that would do all the things a lazy employee won't do? Right? The dirty work. Could I have a robot that just walks around and mops my floors all day and cleans my business and make it perfect? Sure. It'd be an expensive one, but you could have to do all kinds of stuff 24 hours a day. So, I don't know. I'm very interested in this one, and I'll let you know how it progresses as I go forward. The Gigafactory plant, electrical storage is really big. Wide adoption. Yeah. He's hitting on so many fronts. Good for him. Don is all in on Tesla. Not just on Tesla, but robotics. Don thinks that all jobs will be replaced by robots in, what do you say, that by the end, in a year. Don, I love you, brother. Not a year. There's no way 90% of jobs are going to be replaced by robots in a year. Just not going to happen. We don't even have the production capability to replace that. However, 5 years down the road, sure, could we see 20, 30% robot in the workforce? Yeah, we already are seeing some. Has anybody ever been to one of those restaurants? So there's a shabu place down here. I can't remember the name of it, but I went to a shabu place and a Korean barbecue place where you sit down. Basically, a waiter comes by and he just asks if you want any drinks, says hello and make you feel comfortable and explains the restaurant to you. And then you grab your phone, open up an app, and you say, oh, give me this, I want this and this. And a robot comes by. So the robot delivers the food. Saves time. I don't have to wait, or I don't have to have someone on a good day, a bad day, forgetting things. The robot just brings my food to me. We're already seeing these robots in the workplace. Now that robot is nothing like the Tesla bot, which is going to be a humanoid type robot with just full articulation of the hands and feet, can climb, can jump, can do all kinds of stuff. I don't know. Pretty damn exciting. Let's see. I'll move on. I know you guys are getting tired of the Tesla discussion. It was just, I got really fired up with the idea of the robotics. I certainly am. And then Tesla's conference yesterday. One thing that Elon Musk definitely needs to work on is his presentation skills. He seems so uncomfortable when he's on stage presenting. He must have said 150 times during that conference and stammered a whole bunch, but the message was delivered. Let's see. There's a Chinese company with some spooky stuff. Hold on a second. The Gigafactory. Oh, yeah. Merlin, is the cryptocurrency class scheduled for next Wednesday is in person or Zoom? It's online, Chio. So I'm doing the full focus class next week. That's a 6.5 hour class that goes really all day. I think it's from 6 o'clock until 1:30. So I'll be hoarse when I come on the show on Wednesday, guys. I'm gonna be talking like this because my voice will be just completely gone. But yeah, I'm doing that class all day on Wednesday. Fountain Valley, there was the one I went to was on Santa Ana. I think it's on 4th Street. It was called It's called I Can Barbecue. If you haven't been there, man, it's like $39 for all you can eat, and I can put it down. So that one is a pretty cool place. All I Can Barbecue in Santa Ana, and then it's on Jamboree is the Shabu Shabu place. It's by Jamboree and I forget the road, but yeah, that's it. Merlin, you better watch the movie Ex Machina. I saw that one before you ordered your bot. No, I saw that movie. Kind of a weird movie. It wasn't really for me. I didn't like that one. Tofi, thanks. All right, so let's run through our markets here. Again, I'll move on, but I'm really excited. I'm a big fan of innovation. I like things that make our lives easier, faster, simpler, and allow us to enjoy our time. I feel bad for the kids of today. I think most of us here are probably a little bit older. We're not in our teens and early 20s, as much as I wish I would be. The older we get, I think we would all appreciate our free time as opposed to working every day. I love working. I love doing what I do. I love building content. I love trading, and I really enjoy doing this show. But if I had a robot that did all the little things for me, I'd have more time to do things like this and maybe do more production, more education, and build this channel, which I have not been able to do yet at all. All right, so let's run. Going from top to bottom here for today. Was a pretty ugly day for crypto. I didn't see what the news headline was. I was actually teaching this morning, but we saw intraday-wise some pretty sharp declines in Bitcoin here. You see that big fall that happened right around 9 o'clock this morning and gave, obviously erased a ton of profit, broke below some pretty important levels in my opinion. We are right now, we bottomed out today at a low price of around 65,000. Now, why is that one important? Well, 65, I was really kind of looking at this line over here where we had this base rally out and going to the low end of that rally, which puts the price level for this one right there. So still a little bit lower at 64,890, but breaking down below that 67.2 and closing below it yesterday, just add that little catalyst of bearishness to it. Grand scheme of things, no big deal, right? We're still just sideways, choppy. Again, I am of the opinion we will go down or sideways for the next few months till we get to end of July, maybe early August, and then I think the big rip is going to happen to the upside. So I'm still optimistic, yet I'm bearish in the short term here on Bitcoin. It was your worst performer down today, 1.82%. No bueno. Here's the real dog of the day. Obviously, the past couple days, we've seen pretty significant performance from tech stocks, right? Obviously, the Apple and ChatGPT news really vaulting tech even higher. We saw the NASDAQ and S&P rip to all-time highs. You saw the Dow not get to all-time highs. And you saw the Russell just tank. So here's your Russell for the week. Let me give you a weekly number here. I normally don't do this for all of them, but we'll start off on Monday to where we ended up closing for the day. Russell down 1.37%. Now just keep that in mind when we look at these other market indexes that did so well. I'll go through now just the market indexes, but we had 1.37% slide for the Russell for the week, 1.6 of that coming today alone. Now the Dow, which we don't look at, but I wanted to show it to you just so we can see that big picture all-time perspective. Similar to what the broader markets are doing. They're not making all-time highs, but just kind of chopping sideways. Kind of looks like Bitcoin, really. What was it down for the week? Well, let me go back to our Monday price action here. And, my color blindness is tough. I think that's a green candle. So that would be there to there. Only down 0.5%. I really should have black and white candles on here. My eyes are terrible at reading colors. Let's see. If I widen them out, I can see. Oh, there we go. That makes it much easier for me. So Monday was in fact green and today was green, so I was correct. 0.5% move up today, or for the week, for 0.5% slide for the Dow this week. S&P, that's where the fireworks really start to happen. Going back to our Monday quote, we ended up on the week 2.82%. And again, largely due to tech. Apple, of course, leading that charge, and your NASDAQ was the best of the best with a gain for that 5-day window of time of 4.84%. Oh boy. Remember, the average annual rate of return for the market, the S&P 500, is about 10%. They say 8 to 10. I'll just say 10%. And we got 4.84% this week. We might be getting a little long in the tooth here as this rally has continued and continued and continued. Let's go back to January and see where we are overall for the entire year, which is right there. For the year right now, the NASDAQ is up 22%. Woo! 22%. Phenomenal run. People are still waiting for the broadening out of the rally. Well, bullish hammer till it's at the top. Let's go look at that one a little bit closer. I don't see a hammer formation at the top there on the NASDAQ by any means. It actually looks more bullish. I mean, we closed at all-time highs today, all-time intraday highs. This is just win, 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 win. Could you repeat in 20 seconds? Uh-oh. Oh, I see. You got a commercial. Let me ask you, when you get a commercial, does it cut? Do you not see what happens to that window of time, that whatever the commercial length is? Doesn't it start right after? Or does it override? Does it override the content, or does it give a gap and then start where you left off? It sounds like you're saying it cuts off. Big Ev says, if the 10-year had another week like this one, you'd be in... I'm looking forward to the beer, Big Ev. One way or the other, I'm looking forward to the beer. All stocks bring up the NQ or AI stocks. Yes. It really was Apple, though. I mean, you look at the week that Apple had. Let's just look at the percentage gain for Apple. Remember, it's now the largest component of the NASDAQ. So you want to talk about the weekly gains for Apple. We'll go from Monday, which actually was a down day, to where we are today. 7.92% gain for Apple. Phenomenal for the week. All right, that, of course, is what brought everything up. Now, what about Microsoft? Microsoft, obviously a big one. It had a great week as well. That's a red. Is that a green candle? Damn, that's a red candle. That's a green candle. Jeez Louise. 4.21% for Microsoft. And those are your two biggest ones. Number 3 is Nvidia, right? We know that. Nvidia. Merlin. Typing's become tough today. And Nvidia just keeps on going. Unbelievable. So much for having a pullback off of the split, huh? That didn't happen. Nvidia up 9.56%. So even with Apple's amazing news, Nvidia was up even more. I really thought we'd see a little bit of a pullback there and then continuing to move to the upside. I guess not. Nvidia just off to the races yet again. Unbelievable. Netflix isn't that much of a heavy hitter, though, percentage-wise in the index. But we can go look at those numbers there. And for the week, Netflix is up 4.43. You had Google. All right, we'll bring that one. Google down on the week, looks like. Yeah, right. No, we're up. Up 0.99%. So one of the weaker performers right there. And let's just go and bring in Amazon as well, which is down in the week, as you can see here. So all in all, tech, yeah, saving it. I saw a really funny meme. You guys may have seen this one where it has a building falling over and it's got a couple wooden planks like holding up the building from falling. It used to be, it was like Apple, Microsoft. This week, it's just all Nvidia planks holding that building up, propping up the entire market. So let me go to NASDAQ 100 weightings, just so we can see. I love this site. I know I've mentioned it many times. You guys give me a hard time about it all the time, but it's all right. Let's go see the heaviest weightings in this one on the NASDAQ 100. And Apple is back on top, representing 8.64%. So with these three companies alone, Apple, Microsoft, and Nvidia, you're talking 25% of the entire NASDAQ 100 weighting right there. Surprised to see Broadcom. So Avgo, ticker symbol AVGO, that's Broadcom, right now is 4.7% of the index. That's more than Tesla. That's more than Netflix. Tesla only represents 2.24% of the index. So all in all, looking pretty surprised to see Broadcom move up like that. It used to be my favorite trading stock right there. Was Broadcom. Still breaking above swing highs, leg and run some more. I think you're right, Rob. I mean, look, as inconceivable as this run looks like on the NASDAQ and the triple Qs and Nvidia and Apple, I'm not buying right now. I will miss this rally, that's for sure. But if you're in it, there's no reason to get out. Just set a trail stop, I would say, and just let this thing run, because enthusiasm is pouring into it. The expectations right now are we're going to start to see some rate cuts, certainly based off of the data we saw this week with CPI, with PPI. I think you're going to start to see the talk track shift more towards rate cuts. Now, again, I'm in the camp that they don't need to cut rates. Economy is doing great. Why bother cutting rates? You save that till you need it, right? You don't want to shoot that bullet until you absolutely need to. They don't need to cut rates. Markets are doing great without it. What are we looking at now? Let's see when this was updated as of. So this was updated as of 4 o'clock Central Time this morning. So this doesn't include today's trading, but you'll see that Our next meeting right now is a 87% chance that they're going to keep rates right where they're at. But what about the end of the year? We talked about this shifting. Well, it really hasn't shifted much. It's kind of staying right where it was. I thought we'd actually see this slide to the left a little bit and a higher probability of maybe more rate cuts based off that inflationary data that came out. So all in all, a fantastic week. I'm sure most of you did well because it was such a bullish week. Of course, the crypto side looking a little bit choppy, but that's okay. We'll get our day in the sun and it'll kind of rally back here. As far as next week goes, off the top of my head, I'm trying to think what's cooking. We have, what do we have next week? Oh, we have Lennar and KB Homes. So we have some home builders coming out next week, which have been very interesting. Here's Lennar. All right, so Lennar was looking great, and then all of a sudden just went sideways and has really been chopping sideways. To me, this is a sign of a slowdown in our markets. So if I'm looking at this Lennar chart, I probably would want to put some lines right across these lows here and use that as my entry to potentially go short. See you, Thomasina. Have a great weekend. Do something fun, will you? And then you got KB Homes, KBH. Oops, KBH. Similar picture. While it's still moving up, we are making higher highs, higher lows with KB Homes. We are seeing, at least for the past couple months, a slowdown in that. And I haven't looked at Toll. Toll Brothers does not come out with earnings next week, but we do have KB Homes, Lennar. We have this one, SPWR. We talked about SunPower. This is the most heavily shorted stock in the financial markets right now, and they have earnings next week. So I'll be wanting to watch this one. I think they come out on Wednesday with their earnings announcement. I believe after market close because it's a NASDAQ stock. NASDAQ typically reports after market close. But this will be a very fun one to watch. It could be very wild. Remember, if they report for some reason good earnings and the stock jumps, those short squeeze is going to be in full effect. And I'm willing to bet you there's some people taking some flyers and going on call options out of the money right now, buying them cheap, expecting to see a short squeeze. If it breaks below the trend reversal, down below swing lows, which one are we talking about? Microsoft and Apple. What else do we have for next week? I think that was pretty much it on the earnings front. Economic calendar-wise, you have, man, you're testing my brain right now. This is the world that I live in. Tuesday you have retail sales numbers coming out. Thursday you have the Swiss National Bank and you have the Bank of England reporting rates. And I believe right now, I don't usually watch the Swiss franc, but let's go check that Swiss franc chart here. Do I even have it on my watch list? Swiss franc's one that I've traded a few times, but I really don't. There it is, Swiss franc. So the Swiss franc been showing a lot of strength. Remember, the Swiss franc is the second of this currency pair, which means the dollar is showing weakness and the Swiss franc is showing strength. The Swiss franc is expected to cut rates, which should actually cause this to drop even further. So if you are an active Forex trader, you might want to look at shorting USD CHF based off the expectation. They're expected to go from 1.5% down to 1.38%. So cutting rates usually stimulates the currency. Actually, let me rephrase that. That's the opposite. Cutting rates usually drops the value of the currency. So in that case, we should be looking for the bullish side. Sorry, I'm thinking too fast here today or trying to. It's the whiskey and it's Friday. It's up, Swiss franc, CHF. So again, if we could look at the future side of things, but I always look at the spot market because I think that's a better real representation. But the way currency valuations work, typically if you cut your interest rates, it drops the value of your currency. So that would be bad for the Swiss franc. In this case, it would be bullish for USD CHF. Your personal opinion, do we get an Nvidia pullback? Man, look, I've already said we are. I thought we were going to get a pullback because of the split, right? Our vertical line, which for some reason was taken off of here, would be right there. This is the day that Nvidia split. Oh, no, sorry. Nvidia split. Yeah, Nvidia split there. In my opinion, it should have started to sell off because historically, when I look at financial markets and patterns, typically when you get a stock split, it sells off several days after the stock split. Well, I don't know whether this is just caught up in the overall tech euphoria, if this is caught up in the Elon Musk, pumping of robotics. Of course, the Nvidia is going to be a major driver of robotics going forward, or if this is just the sympathy rally because of OpenAI's deal with Apple and the whole new revenue stream coming into Apple. I'm not sure, but fighting Nvidia and going the opposite direction of Nvidia would have been extremely costly for me had I been, shorting this one. And I have not shorted Nvidia at all. But I do think that there's a pullback coming. You've got all these unfilled gaps on the chart, but as my mentor told me back in 1999, he goes, you think all gaps fill eventually. We were all taught all gaps fill eventually. Not necessarily. I can go back and show you some gaps in Amazon that go back into the late 90s that'll never be filled. Never. It's never going to go back there. So, we look at this gap that happened on the 22nd of May. That nice big gap up here from $95 roughly to about 101. $6 gap up. That's an open gap. That should fill. I don't know if it will. I mean, I think Nvidia right at this point is just too damn strong. You've got an unfilled gap back here as well from February 22nd, where it jumped from right around $68 all the way up to 75. I don't know. I just don't think that those are going to fill. There's a huge one back here that's unfilled. And if you're waiting for this gap at $30 to fill on Nvidia, you'd be waiting so long, waiting so long. So yeah, I would like to buy Nvidia on a pullback here. I just don't see it coming. My logic for it selling off was going to be because of the profit taking on the stock split, which again is a statistical probability, a high probability of happening. It just didn't happen. And maybe if the markets cool off a little bit, it'll have a reprieve. But right now, I mean, how can you fight this chart? It's exactly, you know it, Oliver. It's my favorite mantra. The trend is your friend till the bend at the end. And there's been no bend. There's barely been any kink. This is a slight, I mean, you had a two down red days in a row. Oh, wow. That's like the first time in 3 months you've had 2 down days in a row. It's crazy. All right. What else do I have here? I asked ChatGPT to tell me about Nvidia split history. Check it out. You may be surprised. Uh-oh. All right. Remember, which version of ChatGPT are you using, Lisa? Are you using 4.0? Because if you're using 3, it only goes, I think, goes up to 2021. It doesn't use current market data. The other ones are using more current market data. I'm long some $3 Siri call leaps. Siri. All right, hold on, Chase. Talk to me, Goose. Great, I said Siri and my phone starts to listen to me. Talk to me, Goose. What do you see in Siri? Now, I mean, I had it on my truck when I first got it, but I mean, this chart looks pretty ugly, my friend. I want to know what you know or what you think. If you got $3 calls on this one, what do you think is going to cause this bad boy to pop? I see fewer and fewer people using Siri. Let me mark out $3 here so we have that exact number. I'm just curious. It's not a right or wrong thing. I'm not trying to poo-poo anything. I'm just curious because when I look at this chart, I'm thinking of one direction only, and that is down. Okay, short squeeze. Good. I was worried you were going to say Siri's going to come back to all the car manufacturers. They're being embedded in all the Teslas or whatever. Yeah, I use a thumb drive. I have a little USB device I put in there. But yeah, I just don't see this one doing real well. I have not checked the short interest on this. We can do that if you want. Let me real quickly bring up the short interest on this bad boy just so we can see what it's at. It's probably pretty high because Siri, Rob says Siri doesn't work all the time. Yeah, I had it for free for I think 6 months in my car and I was like, I'm done. I'm not paying a monthly fee for this. I listen to enough music. And granted, they have some cool channels I can't get elsewhere, but it's not for me. All right, let's go look at their short interest. I think it's under statistics or financials. I clicked on financials. No, it's under statistics. My guess is, before we looked, anybody got any guesses on what the short float is? What percentage of the shares of Siri are short, right? Sirius XM Holdings, what percentage of the shares do you think are short at this moment in time? I'm curious. I'll scroll down here and look, and I think we're probably 30 to 40% short. Let's see. Oh, I was off. 22.99% of the shares are short. Now, you got to be careful there. 22.99 is not like astronomically high. Tofi's at 25, pretty close, my friend. Yeah, 22% is not like off the charts high. Like, let's look at SPWR. This one should be really high. It says 59. I saw another site that quoted as like 93% of the shares short. So 59% of the float is short right now. That's crazy. That is a lot. You win the water. You win the water cooler, my friend. It's all yours. So, as far as the short squeeze go, you got to be careful there. Let's look at GameStop, GME. Now, my guess is most of the short stuff on GameStop has been washed out, but you're still at 29%. That's still pretty high. So I don't know if that will necessarily create a huge short squeeze for your Siri. Be careful. That trend is pretty aggressively strong, at least with something like GameStop. GameStop just got, $4 billion worth of funding. They can go do a lot with that. And GameStop, which we can look at that price chart here today. By the way, we can talk about Roaring Kitty for a second. So Roaring Kitty did, in fact, sell all of his call options. He sold 66% of his call options, and he exercised 1/3. So he picked up another couple million shares here. I think he has 9 million shares of GameStop in total right now. Well, look at the chart here of GameStop. I'm not a GameStop fan. You know, I'm actually a GameStop hater. But if I look at the price chart here of it, it's not having big sell-offs back down. It had a pretty good announcement with the funding that it received, billions of dollars, and they've said that they're going to start to go into buying other businesses. Now, I still don't know how that helps their business. I still think it's pretty awful what their model is, but maybe with that money, they can parlay that into a new business direction and save GameStop. That may be how it works. Like I said, many times, if I'm GameStop, I'm now looking at creating organized gaming centers where people can come down, game, join tournaments, and I charge fees for the tournaments. GameStop has such a big network that they could actually set up a global gaming tournament center where you would go and play online games for competition, competitive prices. And of course, the way the competitions would work. You have to spend like $500 entry fee for each person or something like that. And that would allow you to come down there and play. But the reality is, you're not going to win. There's so many other people around the world. GameStop makes the profit off the commissions for that, and that's a new revenue thing for them. Plus, now that people are in the store, they could sell. That's how I would pivot this business, but we'll see what GameStop ultimately does. Maybe they can buy Siri. Maybe the GameStop radio channel. Oh, that's really exciting. You can stream your games. Don't download them. Just listen to the game. What is wrong with Siri? Which does pay a 2-cent dividend and best on revs and earnings. It beats on revs and earnings. Michael, they're garbage. Oh, hold on. Kramer said GameStop could close their business and open another business. Would you or would you not buy GameStop? I would not buy GameStop with anybody's money. Kramer's right. They could close their business and start something else. That might be too big of a transition. Right? Granted, they have billions of dollars, but remember, they have retail locations all over the world. That has significant value. What could you do with those retail locations is the key. Now, maybe with this extra billions of dollars, they can figure that part out, but I still would not buy them. And as far as Siri, Michael, this has been the piece that gets you all the time. All the time. Siri. What is that price telling you, Michael? Where's it going? Forget what you read about earnings. Forget about what you read about revenue and the dividend it pays. What is that price chart telling you, Michael? Where is it going? This thing's going down faster than the Titanic did in 1912. Look at it. You could like cheer and celebrate over a day. Like, ooh, they did beat earnings. Yeah, they beat earnings right here. They made 7 cents. But the price chart's telling me that there's bigger problems afoot here. They might be making money, but remember, everything that is known or knowable is reflected in the stock's price. And clearly, the powers that be know something here. They're running for the hills. Like your SoFi. You mentioned the other day, you said, SoFi's going up, SoFi's going up. Look at the chart. SoFi's going lower highs, lower lows, and we just broke through some significant lows. I think if it doesn't bounce here at 650 on this SoFi for you, Michael, you're in trouble. You have unfilled gaps that go all the way back down to 540. You could challenge these lows here. So remember, all that matters is price. Love it, Big Eb. I'm hoping you got that from me and I've beaten that into your head, Big Eb. All that matters is price. It doesn't matter what Jim Cramer says. Doesn't matter what I say. Doesn't matter what the earnings are. None of that matters. None of it. It's all designed to manipulate you. Siri did buy XM years ago. They should be trading much higher. 3 words that mean nothing, Michael. Should have, could have, and would have. I should have bought $1 worth of Bitcoin in 2009 and be worth about $100 billion today, but I didn't. I should have bought Nvidia when Larry was on my power trading radio show in 2015 telling me to buy it. He thinks it's a great company when it was down at a split adjusted price of 78 cents. Did I buy it? I didn't. So you can't look back and say should, could, and would. Doesn't matter. Price is everything. And people are saying that Nvidia's overbought. right? NVDA. Oh, it's too expensive. It's going down. Okay. Prove me wrong. This is not going down. This thing's going nowhere but up. And it's going to continue to go up until it doesn't go up anymore. Period. That's it. Short it from a supply zone. Right on, Rob. You know, if I look at SoFi and I want to short it, but I'm not shorting stocks that are penny stocks. Right? And this is a common mistake people fall into. They'll look at cheap stocks and go, oh, it's cheap. It has to go back up. No, you know what will happen? They'll do a 10-for-1 reverse split. Let me see here if SoFi has done that in the past. I don't know SoFi because I don't follow it. Nope, they haven't. But it'll get so cheap. And at a certain point, it will drop below the threshold, which is going to be a couple of dollars. And it will, they'll do a reverse split. But see, Michael, you're being influenced there. You say SoFi CEO Noto Anthony bought $86,000 and he bought another $30,000. Who cares? Nobody cares. But he may buy SoFi. And again, look, I don't think SoFi is a bad company, but the share price tells me it's not going up. Remember, how do you make money? You don't make money by buying a good company. You make money by buying price. And you're buying something cheap, hopefully selling it high. Or buying it high and selling it higher. The company is the behind the scenes piece that might be pushing the prices. I think that's what you keep going after, Michael. But the reality is, price is what you're trading. I'm paying this price with the hopes that it's going to go up in value, or with the anticipation it's going to go up in value, or shorting at a higher price, anticipating it's going to go down. And on these charts, like especially SoFi or Siri, I mean, Siri looks awful, absolutely awful. I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. You could not pay me. If you said, Merlin, I'll give you $100 if you were to buy long Siri right now, I would buy it. I would take your $100 and I would instantly close my position, take a couple cent loss, and take your money. Yeah, I don't care, Michael. I don't care what Noto Anthony is doing. You know, there was a while back, and unfortunately the chart's gone, but CHF, which is, it used to be called Chesapeake Energy, CHK. So Chesapeake Energy, unfortunately they did bankruptcy and then they got rid of it, their share price. But there was a period of time where the CEO, Aubrey McClendon was his name, he was an insider and he was buying nonstop. So Michael, you would have found on a filter like, oh, this CEO is buying all these shares, it has to go up. I'll be honest, I thought the same thing. And it did. It kept going up and up and up. And he was leveraging using borrowed money. And all that happened was like a 10% drop in the share price of Chesapeake Energy. That triggered a margin call, which triggered all of his sales. And it erased hundreds of millions of dollars worth of valuation in about a week. Everything just collapsed on it. So don't believe if an insider buys, who cares? If an insider sells, who cares? Doesn't matter. Look at price. It's all about price. All right. You know, Chesapeake, that at one time, what a disaster, right, Steve? That was a crazy chart. Guys, I'm going to wrap up before you hit a commercial. It's my Friday edition. If you have questions, email me at TraderMerlin@gmail.com. Put your comments down below any of the YouTube videos. I hope that you have a fantastic weekend. I'm going to have Bill Addis on the program on Tuesday, Don Dawson on Thursday. That's it for me. You have a commercial break in 6 seconds. Have a great weekend, everybody. I will see you all on Monday.